Powered by the Montana Television Network. The Q2 10 o'clock news starts right now in high definition.
Hello, Montana. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. There is no place like a Trump rally, right? We have a good time.
As you can see, wheels are down here in Billings. The president is officially landed in Montana.
Yes, from the Rimrock Auto Arena, the city of Billings getting set to host the president of the United States in another Make America Great rally.
First of all, you have a new man, Matt. Do we love Matt?
But I am thrilled to be back in Big Sky country with so many of my great friends and true American patriots. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeanelle Slade. President Trump touches down in Montana and rallies thousands of supporters at the Rimrock Auto Arena at Metro Park tonight. A huge crowd welcomed the 45th president as he talked gun rights, Social Security, and borders. The underlying theme, elect Republicans to Congress, with a spotlight on Senate candidate Matt Rosendale. Q2's Jay Cohn, joined by our MTN political team as Trump delivered his message to an eager audience.
With the midterm elections now just 2 months away, President Donald Trump spent much of his day here in Montana for the second time in 2 months. He paid a visit to the Big Sky State, and the Democrats were right in his bullseye. Chief political reporter Mike Dennison joins us now. Mike, this rally really like no rally I've seen in Montana. Your thoughts?
Well, it was a campaign rally, and job one was rallying up his base and getting people to think about those midterm elections that you mentioned, and especially looking at the race in Montana, Jon Tester versus Republican Matt Rosendale. He spent a lot of time talking about Matt Rosendale and saying, vote for Rosendale because Tester is not going to vote for us, and if you vote for Democrats, everything we've talked about is going to fall apart, and we're going to lose all the gains that we've made. That was his message tonight.
We'll be defending your Social Security, which the Democrats will destroy. And we're going to be defending your Medicare and protecting the safety net for truly needy Americans, people that need help, that are Americans, not for people that come into our country illegally.
Another big topic tonight was trade, and Russell Nimitz from the Montana Ag Network has been lending his ear to that subject. We have a new beautiful deal with Mexico, apparently.
Yeah, as expected, trade was part of his campaign rally message tonight here in Billings, and of course, making good on a campaign promise, too, to first of all pull out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership earlier this year, and then making good on his promise to either do away with NAFTA or renegotiate it, which of course is happening right now. And as you mentioned, he did bring up that just a few days ago, he was able to strike a preliminary new trade agreement between the United States and Mexico, which he is very pleased with, and I think most of Montana agriculture could live with. And at this point, I think with President Trump, it's up to Canada whether they want to come along with the U.S. and Mexico on it, because he's not waiting around for them. It's okay if they join in, but it's not going to be the end of the world if they don't.
He says we love Canada.
We love Canada, but we're moving on without them if we can't get an agreement reached sooner rather than later.
So more on this theme that America is winning on trade as well. Mike, we also heard the president, for the first time I can remember, talk about impeachment, the I word.
Yes, and I was kind of surprised that he even bring it up in the first place. But again, I think I kind of went along with the theme of tonight, saying if you vote for Democrats, he's almost suggesting they're going to try to impeach me. And then he talked about, he's almost kind of joking about impeachment and what would happen if the Democrats win.
They like to use the impeach word, impeach Trump. Maxine Waters, we will impeach him, but he didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't matter, we will impeach him. We will impeach. But I say, how do you impeach somebody that's doing a great job, that hasn't done anything wrong? Our economy is good. How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it?
And we also saw the president taking plenty of swipes at us, at the media, the dishonest media.
It was uncomfortable, I have to admit. Yeah. Everyone turning around pointing at us, it was a little weird.
Yeah, it was. But I think we've come to expect that from the president. And but there was a lot of talk about how the media is preventing him from doing what he wants to do, and never reporting on what the good things that he does do. And that's kind of his shtick.
Yeah, it is. One final surprise perhaps tonight is when Matt Rosendale took the stage. He pledged that he would not serve more than 2 terms in the U.S. Senate, should he win this race coming up in November. So we'll see. Montanans have heard that pledge before from Senator Conrad Burns, who then went on to be elected for a 3rd term, something that people thought would work against him, but it didn't end his political career. So it's been a night of politics here at the Rimrock Auto Arena, one that Billings will remember for a long time. For Mike Dennison and Russell Nimitz, I'm Jay Cohn. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Now, the president will spend the night in Billings and will leave around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for rallies in North and South Dakota. MTN political analyst Dr. David Parker on hand in the studio tonight and weighed in after the rally.
He's hammering on certain issues that he hopes will resonate with Republican voters. One of the things you have to understand is that there's this midterm effect, and in the midterm effect, generally what happens is voters that supported the president tend to stay home, and voters that are upset with the president show up in droves. So he's trying to counter that, and he's hitting on these themes that he thinks is going to basically drive those voters to the polls. Immigration, which is an issue that he mentioned a few times. He also talked about Social Security and Medicare, suggested that Democrats are going to take that away. A lot of the Trump voters rely upon Social Security and Medicare, even though there's no evidence that the Democrats who created those programs are going to take that away. And he talked about guns. Guns, 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 and the digital vote.
And tonight, Senator Jon Tester's campaign manager responding to the president's remarks, saying what the president says isn't much different than what Senator Tester believes.
What we did hear, similar to the Great Falls rally, was the president talking about what he's gotten done and his agenda. And a lot of the things he included in that, especially as it relates to improving services for veterans, were actually bills that Jon Tester has worked on. He talked about the VA Mission Act, which is a bill to reform the VA, reform the choice program, give veterans in Montana across the country more options. That's a bill that Jon Tester negotiated and worked on. And he also talked about the VA Accountability Act, which is also a Jon Tester bill.
Well, it's only been a week since this rally was announced, but the president drew a crowd from all across the state and country. MTN's Mallory Peebles spoke with supporters to hear their reasons for turning out.
Before the event, this entire area was packed with anxious Trump supporters, some traveling as far as Alaska and others just a few blocks. Everyone here looked to be having a good time.
We're hoping we get the picture with President Trump. We love you, Trump.
Some came to see the president for the first time. Have you ever seen the president before?
No, only on TV I have.
And others the 39th time, like Randall Thom. He got here at 10 a.m. on Wednesday.
I came and put my chair down up front there, so we marked the spot and hung out, and then we all checked out. See, there's one of my buddies right there.
Seeing old friends and making new ones.
Yeah, we just met some friends here from, where are you guys from?
It's great. I love seeing the patriotism, and I'm excited.
It's like a small moving family here. We all get along so well. It's peaceful. It's not what people think it is.
Like-minded folks showing their support for the president and the country. And while some have been looking forward to this day since the rally was announced, others made it a last-minute trip.
Heard the rally was here. We got tickets, got in the car today. 5 hours later, we're here.
We're here.
So,
go Trump.
Even with all the hours spent in line, folks stayed positive.
What's nice to see, all the young people that are out here to support them, because they're the future.
Hoping that excitement and enthusiasm here will carry over to the polls. The president was true to his word from his last visit. For those who couldn't make it inside, there was a screen outside playing the entire event. Reporting from Billings, I'm Mallory Peebles with MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mallory. Well, inside Metro Park, we spoke to Trump supporters just moments before the president took the stage. Some say they came to hear the president talk about building the wall. Others say their biggest concern is health care, and they support Trump's desire to repeal Obamacare. Another said Trump's policies are good for Montana businesses.
But if he can just now figure out a way to get more tech companies into Montana, so help Senator Daines and Greg Gianforte, more, maybe even manufacturing companies that come to Montana.
As far as how many supporters showed up, well, the Metro was predicting 10,000. You can see from the video tonight, people indeed filled the seats. Stop Kavanaugh. Journalists are not the enemy. America is great. Well, just some of the signs seen entering Metro Park this afternoon. Protesters lined up outside the Metro entrance near 4th Avenue North and Main Street. Many seem to be individuals not with any particular group. Now, some talked about their concerns with the Trump administration.
We're tired of the misogyny and bigotry and attacks against the LGBTQ community, and we want Mr. Trump to be aware that that's not acceptable to a lot of the citizens of Billings.
I think President Trump is a fascist and a racist, and I don't think he's good for the United States of America. And I think it's my duty to protest him.
He's trying to take away a lot of worker rights and worker benefits, and he wants more for himself and his family and for his rich benefactors, is what I call them.
Now, the protesters told us they hope President Trump saw them at the entrance tonight, and they stayed through the rally. Well, not only were people lining up early, so were the Trump vendors outside Metro and all across Billings. Vendors of all sorts providing Trump memorabilia and swag. Q2's Zoe Zandora brings us a look.
What makes a family of vendors?
So we've got different roles. Like my mom, she embroiders all the hats you see here, made in America. And my dad, he owns a screen printing business, so all the shirts you see were made by hand by us. This right here is what Trump's all about, free enterprise and making America great again.
I'm a Trump supporter. I've been with him ever since he came down to Escalade. I know a lot of people don't expect us to be out here, but we're supporters too, and he got a lot of us out here.
Been on the Trump trail since March of 2016. I knew nobody on the trail until we started, doing the rallies. Now we're like one big happy family.
Here with everyone else next to the vendors and the president himself. How does it feel to be at a rally in Montana?
You know what? I love coming to these rallies. You're around people. It's very easy to get discouraged about what the country feels like. It feels divided. When you come here, it's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling, and it's kind of addictive because you get to be around people that just love the country. It's a book of President Trump's tweets. Begins Inauguration Day, January 20th, and goes 1 year, so it ends January 19th, 2018. We're doing 1 volume per year that he's president, so we believe there'll be 8 volumes.
Don't be a Democrat. Get yourself a Trump hat.
In Billings, Zoe Zandora, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Zoe. Now, let's also go behind the scenes of tonight's event. Q2 is the only local media that got an inside look at how the president travels. Our reporters had access to the National Press Pool, which means our cameras were inside the motorcade as the president made his way from the Billings Airport to Metro Park. When Air Force One landed, we were also just feet away from the plane with a close-up view. And turning to our weather today, Bob, for those standing in line, they weren't too affected, but we do have some smoke moving in.
We had about a week or so where we didn't have the smoke-filled skies, a little bit, but now it's starting to return. Let me show you what's happening. You can see over there in Northern California, we're starting to see the smoke from those fires into Oregon, Washington. Now it's all starting to waft its way into Montana today, and probably going to do so again tomorrow. And because of that, let's check out the air quality. For the most part, the air quality is still pretty good around Montana. Billings has good air quality, but we're starting to see up in the northwest corner of the state where we still have some leftover fires around Glacier. We still have moderate air quality there, so the air is starting to get a little bit bad again, starting to see some smoke-filled skies, and it looks like maybe tomorrow another batch of rain could move in and maybe help kind of wash out some of that smoke. We'll have more coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, a generous multi-million-dollar donation to Billings Clinic will help address the mental health crisis in Montana. Plus, later, movie and television icon Burt Reynolds has passed away. We'll have his story. And in sports, this young man is playing varsity football and soccer right now. Same season. Scott shows us how he juggles it.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.